Round 12 of the Champ Cars in Chicago. Qualifying was not a happy experience for New Zealand driver Scott Dixon. He started from 19th on the grid after the car has suffered from a lot of understeer. In Dixon's favour was his knowledge of the circuit from his days in Indy Lights. Fine conditions for race day in round 12 of the Champ Cars.
As Bill makes his way round on the pace car, let's have a look at the grid, brought to you by Telmex. Tony Kanaan, who we mentioned on the pole, Helio Castro and Neves with just one lap. Then it's Adrian Fernandez and Mimo Gidley that make up row 2.
On row 3, Alex Zanardi, his best qualifying of the year. Alongside him, his former teammate, Jimmy Vasser, now drives for Patrick Racing. On row 4 of the grid, Roberto Moreno, the other Patrick car, and the series points leader, Kenny Breck.
And then Patrick Carpentier starts on the inside of row 5, last week's winner, and Dario Franchitti alongside him. In row 6, it is Bruno Junqueira and our defending champion of the series, Gilles de Perrin.
On row 7 is Mauricio Guzman. Huge crash here on Friday. He escaped with only bruising. Lucky man, Alex Tagliani alongside. Row 8, Brian Herter and Shinji Nakano, the teammate of Adrian Fernandez.
Michael Andretti, who led 17 laps here last year, starts on the inside of row 9. Toru Takagi was the quickest in the warm-up this morning. Scott Dixon starts on the inside of row 10, and last year's winner, Cristiano D'Amata, alongside him.
21st in qualifying, Oriol Servia. That's a locally based Sigma Autosport team just outside here in Chicago. And the veteran Paul Tracy on row 12, Michel Jourdain Jr., his best ever finish last weekend, alongside Christian Fittipaldi.
Max Papis is making his 90th career start here today, and he's not starting where he wants to, right at the back of the pack. We have one last pace lap to go. We understand we spoke to Chris Neifel, the chief steward, earlier today. We need about 3 car lengths between rows to get a green flag start from Jim Swintal. We had a problem with that in Michigan and also in Toronto. Fuel window about 65 to 75 laps, Jeremy, but we may be able to go a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's a touch and go whether they can reach the finish on just 2 pit stops, but we'll see how that strategy plays out during the race. It's going to be, we've got all sorts of onboard cameras for you, and we've got a lot of excitement coming up as well, getting ready for the green flag, guys.
Coming through turn 4, 2 by 2, Helio Castro Neves, Tony Kanaan responsible for bringing the field down together, and see if we can get a green flag and go racing in Chicago. It is green, and a good start by Fernandez. He gets a bit of a shove.
Something fell off there, one of the cars. Looks like some sort of a cone, actually. Not quite sure what it is.
Jourdain got caught out at the back there, and Max Papis has picked up a position right away. Here comes Fernandez.
Around the outside, Jimmy Vasser. What a great move by Jimmy Vasser. All the way around on the outside of a couple of cars. Can he get past Castro Neves as well? Not quite, but a great move by Jimmy Vasser.
See if he can make that stick. Tony Kanaan trying to put some distance between himself and Vasser, but Vasser again on the outside of Helio Castro Neves this time. And he does make that stick. Another great move by Jimmy Vasser, who has been quick here.
Yes, he has. He was quickest of all on Saturday morning in practice. But, you know, Jimmy's not really noted for these aggressive moves, particularly in the early stages of the race.
He started 6th and is now up to 2nd in just 2 laps. A great run for Jimmy.
The whole field of cars, we've got 25 drivers in this race. Every single one of them has either finished or qualified among the top 5 already in a race this season. We see Kenny Breck trying to make a move the inside of Mimo Gidley down in turn 3, not able to make it happen this time around.
Just further back in the pack, Shinji Nakano started 16th and then lost a couple of positions right away, but is now trying to work his way back up and is actually having a good battle with Brian Herter. This time by, he's not so close, but last time they're side by side down the main straightaway as we ride on board with Kenny Breck. Trying to get close to Mimo. He does get close, and there's a good shot back, and he gets by Mimo Gidley on the inside.
And here's somebody coming into the pits. That's Christian Fittipaldi in the Newman Haas racing car, where he's struggled all weekend long and making an early pit stop.
Slippery. He's going to change tires.
It obviously has to be...
Watch your speed. Hit your mark. Nice and easy.
It obviously has to be pretty severe to have to bring it in like that. He obviously had a very ill-handling car. He knows that now he's going to lose a lap by stopping under green.
Yeah, I've lost a lap. You're right there, guys. Certainly a bit of a vibration, he was saying, apparently. The field now pretty well spread out.
And there, do you see the block by Tony Kanaan the first time, but then still, Helio, and again he runs over that rag. That's the second time he's run over that rag.
Yeah, you know, at least he knows it's there now, but certainly hasn't caused any problems. It hasn't lodged in anything. It's not blocking anything. So that's no harm, no foul, effectively. And there is Helio Castro Neves. He's in the front of the field now and beginning to pull away already. He's lapped down. He's not doing in the 25.6 lap time last time around. Tony Kanaan's pace had been running around about that, but the last 10 laps or so, he dropped back to about 26.0. So Helio Castroneves is clearly a faster car, about a half a second quicker, and he's showing that now by extending his lead already in 2 laps to 1.8 seconds. And now, though, Helio Castroneves is immediately caught up to the tail end of the lead pack. And as we said earlier on, is Michel Jourdain Jr.
Here is that pass one more time, the block, and then down to the inside.
Yeah, he blocked him once. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to make one move, and then he sort of moved across to take his line into the corner. And Castroneves said, "Thank you very much indeed." Dive to the inside, clean move, good manoeuvre by both drivers.
And how quickly he's caught up to Jourdain.
Yeah.
Helio, of course, finished 5th here in 1999. That's his best finish here. Of course, he has the 2 wins already this year, one at Long Beach and the one at Detroit. As Dario Franchitti is in the pit making his stop, and I see the target guys are laid out. So they're obviously going to be coming in any second.
That's right, and 73 laps then for Dario Franchitti. So this is a 225 lap race. You really need to get to lap 75 if you're going to be able to reach the finish on just 2 pit stops. We're seeing now one of the target cars, that is Nemo Gidley. He is making a pit stop as well.
Either they go to all 4 tyre change. We'll see if they make any kind of wing adjustment on that. All 35 gallons of methanol going in. Oh, he almost stalled it. Very luckily got away with it, got out, and I didn't see them make any adjustment now. I don't know if I missed it or he's obviously happy with the car.
Yes, he goes back in the fray. He'll lose at least 1 lap, of course, making this pit stop, and he has to hope now that there is not a full-course yellow. That is Michael Andretti for the Team Motorola look through. That's also part of the Team Green organisation. He is making a pit stop. He was running in 12th before this round of pit stops.
They get their fuel out, no problem. Now, don't forget, Paul Tracy had those fuel problems when he made his stops last week. We'll keep a close eye on Paul. Toro Takagi is in. Max Papis is in to make his pit stop. Of course, teammate of this man, Kenny Bragg, who now runs in 4.
That's looking good there, and that is Rick Reinemann's crew there. A lot of experience. Rick Reinemann there. He's been a crew chief at Penske Racing for an awful long time, and he gets that car perfectly serviced and back out into the race lead. Meanwhile, here is Tony Kanaan. He has stayed out, and right behind him, there is Adrian Fernandez. So those two not yet made their pit stop. We've got 81 laps they've managed to go.
Paul Tracy has come in to make his pit stop. And Tony Kanaan has come in. So every time anyone jumps to the lead, they come in. Now, Paul Tracy, no problems for him this time on his stop, as opposed to last week.
And here come the leaders now. There they are. There's Tony Kanaan and Adrian Fernandez. And Fernandez will peel off first. There he goes into his pit there. And that is Dan Miller, and the boys go to work on that car. 4 fresh tyres once again, of course, and a full load of methanol fuel. 35 gallons on board, and right ahead of it pulls in Gilles de Ferran in the Marlboro Team Penske car.
So they were able to go 82 laps, Joe.
Still out in front there. There goes Fernandez. He's out. Ken Canaan's crew get him out of the fray. Oh, it's going to be awfully close between those two. They leave in exactly the same formation in which they came in, with Kanaan just ahead of Adrian Fernandez. For the 2 Pac West cars, here now finally comes Jimmy Vasser on lap 83.
Brings his Patrick Racing entry in.
So the Toyotas again, just great mileage there. The 2 Roberto Moreno actually still hasn't been in. He and Scott Dixon not yet made a pit stop. Boy, a full course yellow now would be rather nice for them, but it's going to have to come pretty soon, because they for sure are going to have to make their first pit stop fairly soon now.
I said Patrick Racing had had
Here is Roberto Moreno.
I said they'd had a couple of bad weekends, particularly Jimmy had bad weekends, but Moreno's actually finished in the points 8 of the last 9 races. However, it's been on the very tail end of the point scoring positions. He had some great runs where he was running 2nd and 5th. Now, he can do this fuel mileage.
Crept forward a little bit there. That's Mark Schambarger holding that tire in the right front corner. He gets that car back in the fray. It crept a little bit there. Luckily, it didn't cause any problems. It appears that Roberto Moreno is back out into the fray.
But it looked like Fernandez had a go at Kanaan coming into 1. And then also a problem over there looked like for Vasser as Takagi blew by him. Now Takagi suddenly slows coming off of turn 2. And now there's something happening to Tony out there. Scott Dixon now.
He's still going.
Our new leader. So Scott Dixon, who's he won on the oval at Nazareth, and of course scored 41 points of his 57 points in the championship on the ovals.
Castroneves there, who will take over the lead when Dixon comes into the pits. There is Scott Dixon, the Nextel Panasonic car for the Pac West team.
Certainly used to leading races here too, though, Jeremy, because he won the Indy Lights race here last year as he peels off to the pit.
2 years running he's won the Indy Lights race here. You're absolutely right, and great work by him here again. It stretches fuel load an amazing amount, and finally he brings it into the pit lane, gets on the speed limit today because his head jerks forward, gets the car slowed down 50 miles an hour all the way down the pit lane. Seems like you're standing still. It's so agonizingly slow for these guys. But finally now we will see the Pac West team go to work. That's Darryl Fox, a fellow Kiwi, going to work on that car with the rest of the Pac West team. They get the car up in the air finally. It's a bit of a delay getting the air jack in there, but that shouldn't be a problem. And still, the fuel takes longer to go in than it takes to change the tires. There he goes, 12.0 seconds. Another great stop for the Pac West team. Here we are on board now with Kenny Breck, and ahead of Kenny Breck now is the car of Max Papis. Yeah. Yes. But he's certainly closing again on Castroneves. We've got Castroneves still bottled up behind Brian Herter. Really bottled up. He certainly isn't blocking him. He's not really holding him up dramatically, or not visibly at least, but certainly Kenny Breck now is closing up on those two cars. That's Max Papis directly in front of him, and then in front of Max Papis is the race leader, Elio Castroneves. That gap down now to 1.2 seconds, and after Breck had got held up trying to lap Oriol Servia, the gap was double that, 2.4 seconds.
So Michel Jourdain brings out the first caution of the day. It comes at the halfway mark, just past actually at lap 113. We think Gidley was the one other car involved in that. But it wasn't heavy contact, but huge clouds of smoke from Michel Jourdain. Had such a great run last week with that third place finish, his first time on the podium, and he had a good strong car here. But now everyone's going to go into the pits, and I don't think he actually hit the wall. I think he's, I said huge crash, but it was huge smoke and bang and everything. But
the huge smoke was on the throttle, trying to keep it away from the wall, just burning up the rear tires, trying to drive it away from the wall. He was able to do that. Pretty good effort. Here's the replay again. Yeah, looks like he's spun. You can see Gidley there. He just runs up way high. All he's doing, he's completely blinded by the smoke there. So he manages to get out of the way. And good. Here we are on board now with Jourdain going down into turn one.
Let's listen to this.
That's the full throttle there. That's Ford Cosworth horsepower, 850 horsepower, and it drove it away from the wall. Here's on board with Mamo Gidley. You can see that there goes Jourdain spinning around, and Mamo is thinking, oh, yikes, how am I going to miss this? Oh, good, he's come to a rest, I can get through.
Here's Dario getting his full service. And everyone coming in, but you point out Castroneves, Brack stayed out. This is Gidley rejoining. See what this does to the order. This is lap 117. So obviously there's going to be another round of stops after this one.
Look at Zanardi there trying to make a move around the outside of Castroneves in 3 and 4, and he gets past. That is into third place. So all of a sudden, Elio Castroneves there. We had that restart. Down the inside of the restart went Max Papis. He's a lap down. At least he was a lap down. But because of that, Kenny Breck also able to squeeze past Castroneves. And because of that loss of momentum, Alex Zanardi able to make a move in 3 and 4. So the order now, Max Papis, he's out in front, but he's almost a lap down. Then Kenny Breck, the new race leader, and then behind him is Zanardi, and here we are coming up for the restart.
Here it is again. Max Papis down to the inside of Elio, catches Elio out a little bit, then Kenny Breck way low. They're allowed 2 wheels below the white line. A bit of a wiggle coming out, looking a bit squirrely as he comes out of the turn, and then Castroneves with him, and Zanardi there with able to get the position too. So now Kenny Breck takes over the lead here at Chicago. I mentioned he stalled from the lead in the pits last year, but he's maybe hoping not to have to stop again, but I can't see them going that long. That's another 100 laps. The ones that didn't stop though, Jeremy, they're trying to go and do this thing on 2 stop. There on the right, that building you see there, that's Hawthorne Race Course, horse racing course, which is what this started off as, this track here, before Chip Ganassi came over and converted it to be right on board now with Adrian.
Adrian's still running strongly in 5th place. He started 3rd and ran in the early stages of this race in 4th position, actually behind Jimmy Vasser, who got past him early on. And he's now in 5th. He lost a place or 2 in that first round of pit stops, but still another strong run for Adrian Fernandez.
Again, Kenny Breck, our leader, at lap 150. The bad news for Kenny is having been on top of the points for the last, well, since about the third race of the season, he hasn't actually scored points in the last 2 races. So we're trying to get that monkey off his back. Nice smooth line around there. Still behind his teammate Max Papis, who is still trying to stay on the lead lap, which he managed to get back on that restart, don't forget. And here comes Gilles de Ferran. He finished 3rd here last year.
It's lap 151, so that's good news from him. He should be able to reach the finish from here. He's 2/3 the way through the race on cue, making his 2nd pit stop. It's, Matt Johnson there, and the boys go to work on that Marlboro Team Penske car. And Matt Johnson's brother Nick races in the touring cars in the GT series, in the American Le Mans series.
Back on the wheel. Front straightaway, crossing line, 160. Then back down the gear into 1, again on the brakes, heavy on the brakes. Start to get the gas on. This is what the Team Cool guys were having problems with, is putting the power down, going onto the straightaway as Kenny peels off to the left, and he's going to make his pit stop.
Yes, he is a lap for 161.
Adjust your brake bias, adjust your weight jacker. Pits are wide open.
There you go.
Scott Remke there on the
Wow, he came in a bit hot there. Came in a bit hot and drifted out. They say they're going to adjust the brake bias, and he can adjust the weight jacker.
And the weight jacker, of course, that is to compensate for that fuel load. Well over 200 pounds worth of fuel in weight on board that car. It weighs about 1,550 pounds, so quite a large percentage gain when you put in a new tank of fuel, a full tank of fuel. As that fuel load burns down, it changes the weight distribution of the car, and the weight jacker enables the driver to compensate for that change in weight balance of the car to get the handling back again. Another great stop there by Ricky Knott's boys. 11.8 seconds. That's tremendous work. 35 gallons of fuel and 4 tires in 11.8 seconds.
And now our 2nd place, Alex Zanardi, pulls his car in for his stop. See if he can get a good quick one too. We saw the adjustment too on Kenny's front wing. Helio Castroneves now our leader.
He will be in pretty shortly as well. Alex Zanardi there is Donny Lambert. He moved across from Patrick Racing last year to be crew chief mechanic on the number 66 car. Alex Zanardi, 12.3 seconds, a little bit slower for him, but he is back in the fray.
In comes Helio Castroneves.
Yes, indeed, and that's good news for Kenny Breck. Kenny Breck was running, he was the last car on the lead lap, having made his pit stop. He's a good long way ahead of who's the new race leader now, which is Tony Kanaan. So when Tony Kanaan does make his pit stop, even if there's a yellow now, at least Kenny Breck, Kenny Breck would not lose a lap. He would still be on the lead lap.
You can see the forecast for the weekend, Jeremy, was rain for today. We had a sprinkle yesterday in the qualifying session, but it's turned out today that they're expecting a heat wave on Monday. I think the heat wave came a day early. It's very, very hot here today, partly cloudy, and it's going to be, you mentioned at the top of the show, a big workout and a hard job for these guys. It's very hot in those cars today.
Yeah, and they're pulling over 3 Gs through the corner here. It's just lateral Gs though. There's only 6 degrees of banking in these corners here, so nothing like the same problems they had at Texas Motor Speedway, where there was sort of vertical Gs forcing them down into the car as well. Here, the G-forces are just trying to chuck them out the side of the car, and they can sort of lean against the outside padding there. You see the sort of padding on the right-hand side of Mauricio Gugelmin's helmet there, and that helps to keep the body there pretty much situated in the car. You can't really move a whole heck of a lot, and the G-forces, while certainly physically demanding to some degree, are not nearly as stressful, if you like, as they were at Texas.
Yeah, you saw that graphic there with had the pit stops and who had not been in, and of course all the lead guys have not been in, and they're going to have to come in. I understand Jimmy Bass is going to be stopping on about lap 200, which is another 19 laps yet.